Hello?
I'm sorry, you're not allowed.
A Kathy Draco.
That kind of work. Go Bernie.
Hold on, I need to talk to people. Hold on.
Bonus values! Bernie! If anybody is parked in the back, they are going to tow their car. If you're parked in the back, your car will be towed. Don't move your car, please.
Right, that is right, that's right. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, one more chance.
Hello, brothers and sisters! How are we doing tonight? It's great to do a neighborhood campaign event. And I just want to take an opportunity, just a minute here, to welcome you to Lakewood, welcome you to Ward 4 in the Rockport neighborhood. I'm so honored that the first presidential campaign office in the state of Ohio is right here in Lakewood and right here in Ward 4. Yeah.
All the corporate folks, the voices that are standing in opposition to what Senator Bernie Sanders wants to do, which is to lift America and to take us to the next level. And we are in this, sisters and brothers, whether we are black or white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight, Jew, Gentile, Buddhist, atheist.
Yes.
It don't matter. We are in this together. Because together we rise and divided we fall. We gonna do this daggone thing. And Senator Sanders will be the next president of these United States of America. So just do one more thing with me, sisters and brothers. But when I say feel, you say burn. Feel. Feel.
Good evening, everybody. John Spalding here, hosting tonight We the People, and I have Mickey San Miguel here in the chat room with us, and we have the 16th Congressional District of Ohio, and we have Keith Mundy with us tonight as our guest. So, Keith, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about that video and kind of what it took to get that first office kind of opened in Ohio.
Well, what we did is Michael Skindell was using that office. He was running for mayor, and we kept looking at it, waiting to see what we were going to do as far as renting it. And I told everybody we need to hold off. Maybe we can get a little cheaper because we always have money problems. Everybody that does this for a business, for a living, politics, has money problems. We finally signed the deal in December. We opened it in January. It was pretty exciting. Yes. Tristan Rader, who's now in New Jersey, he's the person who ran the office and helped get it open. Scott Halecko right now runs that, and we still have it open. Steve Halecko, excuse me. That's Steve Halecko, excuse me.
And is that one of the only offices still open in Ohio?
Oh, no. We have the East Side Cleveland office open. We have one in Akron still open, and we still have one over in Elyria, which is Lorain County. And
I call you an OB, an original Bernie-crat. You were kind of one of the first organizers in Ohio. Do you want to tell a little bit about that story and what happened as far as the background for that?
Well, a couple years ago, I did put up a Facebook page, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and we developed a small following, a very small following. And we started having meetings around May, June, July. Every time we went to a meeting, we would find people, nobody wanted to really organize the group, and I really didn't want to myself. But what happened is at some point I just decided we needed to do it, and so I started finding people at each of the meetings. We brought them all together to form a committee. We called ourselves at first the Cuyahoga County for Bernie Sanders Committee, and then we expanded it to all of Northeast Ohio for Bernie Sanders. It's worked out for us, hasn't it?
Oh, I think without a doubt it's worked out. It was really cool here around primary time, even though it wasn't successful as far as a win for the state. It was really neat seeing that all come together and all the different groups of people.
We also went down to Cincinnati to help open an office down there. We've opened. There was other offices opened by the campaign, and also too. I guess there's going to be a little video later of where we spoke in Columbus. So yes, this group is an Ohio group. It's not just Northeast Ohio anymore. And what we found is everybody that we brought into the group, we found an awful lot of leaders. People did step up, and people are running Bernie Sanders, not offices, but organizations all over the state right now as we speak.
Gotcha, cool. And so now I believe, so tell us a little bit about how that led you to want to run for office.
That's an interesting story. I felt that we needed to have a connection with the ODP. Also, too, Jim Renacci, nobody was stepping up to run against him. I don't think that anybody should have to run unopposed. I think that in a true democracy, there should be people running against one another. This way, different views come out, different ideas of how things should be done. The relationship that I was able to develop with the ODP and David Pepper, it's been great. I have to be honest with you. And they've allowed us to use the ODP for a lot of meetings. As a matter of fact, we're having a meeting there on Saturday again. Just our Bernie people, all the delegates that are going to Philadelphia.
Great, great. So the tone of that has been positive.
Very positive. I think David Pepper has done an excellent job in trying to keep a level playing field, the best he possibly could, considering that Hillary was already in Ohio years ago, getting her delegates set up way before Bernie even thought about running. And we call those delegates those super delegates, of course.
And we're going to play a video in just a second about what kind of motivated you to run for office, or why are you running. But tell us a little bit about kind of what your plans were before Bernie's presidency came about, as far as what you were going to do with the next couple of years with your life as opposed to run for office.
Well, my daughter was pregnant with triplets. And my wife was working for the schools, and of course she's been up in New York City with our daughter and our son-in-law and the other grandchildren. And yes, she did have the triplets just recently, and of course they're still in the hospital. They were preemies. I was going to move up to New York City, and we were going to kind of bounce back and forth between Ohio and New York City, and that was going to be our life. Yeah, it wasn't going to be running for politics. This was not on my bucket list. Let's put that right out there right now.
Right, right. All right, well, John, let's cue up that video about why Keith is running, and then we will come back and get into the issues.
Hello, my name is Keith Mundy, and I'm running for Congress in Ohio's 16th Congressional District. I'm not a professional politician. As a matter of fact, a year ago I was looking forward to retirement, grandkids, and spending lots of free time with my wife. What motivated this major shift in my life plans was the political revolution of Bernie Sanders. And here's why. I grew up with an immense pride and patriotism for this country. I hold in high regard the ideals that were established by the revolutionary thinking of the Founding Fathers, who saw the need to establish balance between powerful moneyed interests and the people by creating a representative democracy, a democratic republic. Today, these ideals are hardly recognizable in the way America governs itself. What was once a source of pride for Americans is now an embarrassment of hypocrisy. The shift from by the people to by the corporations began in the early 70s and culminated in the disastrous Supreme Court decision of Citizens United in 2012. This ruling and general direction of our government of the last 40 years has created enormous inequality in this country that affects all aspects of life. I fear the future that my grandchildren will face, and I fear for a country I love. Senator Sanders' decision to run for president changed everything for me, but Bernie can't solve this problem on his own. The only solution is the political revolution of downstream Democrats and independents running to return the balance of power to the people. I did not see another candidate stand to challenge the incumbent Republican here in the Ohio 16th District, so I decided to make the stand. I have a thorough understanding of the issues and problems facing the people of this great state and our nation. I will always put the interest of my constituents first. I will fight for what I believe is right for us, my family, and my neighbors. This is why I am running. Please join us, we the people, in the political revolution.
That's really cool. That's a great video. That spark any comments that you want to make sure that you reflect on for that, Keith, or do you want to keep going?
I think we should just move on. It kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's been a lot of people that are motivated by that, and as far as the political revolution, so it's great. So first issue, and everyone get your comments in the chat room, is Social Security. So tell us a little bit, kind of just a overview. We're going to put your slide up right now from your website with the picture. So tell us a little bit of an overview and kind of your stance on Social Security and some of the things that you would do, and then we'll go to Mickey for some questions.
Well, you know, back during the Reagan years, they went and put Social Security in the general fund. That's where the problems all started. When it was put in the general fund, it made it easier for everybody to borrow or to, I like to say, steal, and use it for other things like wars. We need to take it, we need to put a separate fund like we used to have for Social Security. We need a separate fund again, put that money back in that's coming in every day, because it's the people's money. It's not something that's a tax. It's something that's supposed to be kept separate for our retirement. What we need to do also is try to get some of that money back and put in the fund. If we had all that money in the fund today that was from the Reagan years all the way through till now, people would be able to survive on Social Security. Today, those checks are like $7,000 a year to $14,000, maybe $28,000 max. That's not enough to survive in today's world. That's what we need to do. We need to set up a separate fund for that again. It has to be separate totally of the general fund.
And Mickey, we're going to go to questions for you in just a second. I have one question for you, Keith. What are some easy ways, or what are the ways to get some of that money back? And then we'll see if the audience has any questions.
Well, there'll be no easy ways to get that money back. You know, you have to understand that it's you know, a Republican House. They will not want to give that money up. As a matter of fact, they will not want to put it back into the fund, separate fund. They right now act as if they're doing us all a favor by sending us out a Social Security check every month. That's why we have to change it back to the way it was.
Gotcha. And Mickey, how about you? Is there anything going on out there in the chat room as far as Social Security, or some initial comments for Keith?
Nothing on Social Security yet, but first of all, Keith, congratulations on the triplets, my friend.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And we do have a comment from Liam. Liam says to Keith, thank you for caring for the 99% and for the future of the country.
That's nice. Thank you.
Cool. Great. Thanks, Mickey. The next thing, can you tell me a little bit about what's a memorable moment so far that you've had on the campaign trail, or as being a part of running for Congress?
Well, every time I've been able to go see Bernie speak, also the times I've been able to meet him, but really most of all, it's all the people that, you know, that have come to him. You get to meet all these people, and they're all great people. That's what's memorable to me. And then the other thing is the fact that we're finding so many leaders, so many young people who, when we coach them up and they learn about politics, these are going to be people that are going to be able to run for office. And that's pretty exciting right there.
Absolutely.
I want to mention, too, Columbus was pretty exciting. Of course, you have the video of that. That was the first time I ever spoke in public to a large crowd. To thousands, and that was pretty exciting too. But that's again, I want to go back to, it's all the people, and they're all great people. They're all good people. That's the interesting thing about this. As I get involved in politics, I'm starting to see that there's an awful lot of people that are not good people, and you know, they're politicians now, and they are in our party, which is sad. But the people that have never been involved in politics before, they're very cool, very cool.
Yeah, I think we have to fix that. We definitely, and I think that the Sanders campaign has definitely done that. You're a prime example. Brought people together that were not in politics before, and kind of just you have to take a spot at the table in order to make a political revolution happen. We're going to watch that Columbus video next. And you said that was the first place where you spoke in public about your campaign, is that right?
The first time I spoke was in front of when we opened up the office. But okay. Yes, that was the first time I spoke to a large group of people. It was thousands of people, and I have to tell you honestly, it kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Gotcha. Was there a big crowd?
Thousands of people. You'll see in the video. And then afterwards, what was interesting is people actually came up to me and wanted their picture taken with me, and also with their children. And this is when I first started to notice that little bit of notoriety you get when you run for office. I wasn't used to that. People were actually standing in line waiting to have a picture taken with me. I had to chuckle about it. I've had more pictures taken of me in the last 2 to 3 months than I have in the last 30 years put together.
Gotcha. All right. Well, then let's watch the Columbus March video, and so we can see Keith.
I had no idea that I had a message today, but I do. That is, the Democratic Party needs to move left so we can get this country right again. Now, 2 years ago, I put up a Facebook page. It was Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Yeah! I met Elizabeth Warren. I fell in love with her. But I have since fallen in love with Bernie also. What we're going to need on Election Day is to vote every Democrat in.
Every Democrat.
We need to get rid of the Tea Party. We need to get rid of the Republicans. We need to give this next president a Congress he can work with. And if we don't do this, we have failed. That's why everybody has to get up off their butt. They have to talk to their family. They have to talk to their friends. And they have to get out there and make this happen. Now I'm speaking later in Cincinnati. If you want to follow me down there, we're going to do a burning down the house with 40 bands down in Cincinnati, so that we can open up 2 more Bernie offices. We have opened up 5 offices so far in the state. I think they just opened one here in Columbus. I know Bernie has come in with his people, and they are opening offices, but we have grassroots offices opening all over. We have one opening up in Canton. We're going to have one opening up in Youngstown. And like I said, we're going to be putting a couple down in Cincinnati and other places also. If you need or want to open up an office and you are running a grassroots organization right now, my name is Keith Mundy. That's M-U-N-D-Y. Pull out your iPhones, find me there on Facebook, get a hold of me. I will reach out to you and we will open up an office in your neighborhood. And again, this isn't just about Bernie or all the other people that are running for political office. This has to do with changing our country. And if we don't change it now, this is our last chance. I really feel this is our last chance. We need to do this now. And that means that we have to go door to door. We have to, like I said, talk to our neighbors and our friends. It's bring a friend, tell a friend, get them to the polls. Get them to vote. The primary is important for Bernie, but this November is important for all of us. Thank you very much.
Pretty good job there. So, can you tell me a little bit about what you were thinking when you said that this is kind of our last chance to get this right?
Well, you know, we've watched for years. All of us have voted for the lesser of 2 evils, and finally a man came along, Bernie Sanders, Senator Bernie Sanders, and he's the first person that I can just vote for without any reservations whatsoever. That's what I'm talking about. We need to change this right now. You know, it's Wall Street. You know, it's big media. It's big banks. They control everything.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this. You know, right now over 50% of America are the working poor. We can't afford to continue down this road.
No.
We need to change the future, and we need to change it now.
That's cool, and I love the other comment about the Democratic Party. We need to move it to the left to get this country right again.
Yes, that just came to me that day. I don't know, you know, when you get up in front of that many people, it just kind of comes out of you. You know, that was, as you noticed, there was no papers there. I had not written a speech. It was just standing up and talking, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. So what we're going to do, let's go to the second issue, John. We're going to go to healthcare, and then we'll check in with Mickey in the chat room. So let's talk a little bit. John's going to bring up your Facebook page again like you did, or your website page like you did last time. Let's talk a little bit about your stance on healthcare and kind of where you see how you're going to work once you reach office for that issue.
Are you ready you want me to speak now?
Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Excuse me. Okay. Well, of course, I'm with Bernie Sanders. We need a one-payer system. We need to take the insurance companies out of the loop totally. We need to expand Medicare, and like I said, one-payer system is going to be better for all of us. It really is. I'm getting an awful lot of talking in the background on my end. There it goes. And with healthcare, you have to remember, for a long time we had insurance that wasn't. People would buy an insurance policy. They would go into the hospital. They would come out of the hospital and they would be in debt. You know, they'd have to file bankruptcy. Under Obamacare, which is not so bad but not so good, with Obamacare, at least the insurance companies have been forced to sell insurance policies that work. That's the good thing about Obamacare. The bad thing about Obamacare is it's a lot of high deductibles. There's other problems with it, the cost for some people. So we definitely need a one-payer system. I'm with Bernie Sanders on this thing 100%. Take the insurance companies out. I remember when we were talking about Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, and the Republicans are always talking about the death panels. Well, we've always had the death panels, and they were the insurance companies. And when they didn't give you a new way to cure a cancer or whatever, when you were in the hospital and they said, no, we're going to deny this, you're not going to get this treatment, well, that's a death panel. And that's what the insurance companies still do. And with a one-payer system, this isn't going to happen anymore. Am I still here? No reason for us to...
No, there is. I was going to say, let's check in with our chat room and see where the comments are with Mickey. So let's bring him in.
Sweet. Hey, how's it going, guys? So a quick question on the previous stuff we were talking about, how the younger generation, more progressive folks are wanting to be involved in the political system. So a question from Hydeberry. How is Ohio receiving your message? And because Bernie didn't win, so she's wondering how popular you're gonna, or how well you're gonna do that, rather. And is Trump popular?
I don't think Trump is that popular, honestly. We went to one of his rallies, and he did get a lot of people. He's bringing in people just like Bernie did. How is it my message going to resonate? When I speak to individuals, I'm received warmly. That's a little too early to say, to be honest with you, because I really just started the campaign. For so long we were involved with Bernie Sanders, and I still am. In other words, we're still working on making sure we have all of our delegates together and all the things we have to do to prepare for Philly. But those people that I speak to seem to understand that we need change. Everybody's looking for change out there. That's why Bernie was so popular. That's why Trump's so popular. Let's be honest about it. That's what's going on.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. The Bad Wolf Time Lady is asking. Bad Wolf Time Lady is asking. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Wait. How are young people who want to run for local offices supported and get constituents to take them seriously, especially in today's political climate where millennials largely are disregarded?
Well, that's a good question, and I've got an answer for that. What I'm doing here in the 16th is I've taken a lot of the people who are running for state office, and a lot of these are kids, literally. One kid in Medina, Frank Zona, he's a young guy, just finishing up college. He's already finished up, and he's still going to college. He's running, and we have a few other people, and they're all young people. And yes, what we're going to do is get them involved with my campaign. I'm getting involved with their campaign. It gives us, it gives them help, gives them legitimacy. It's working. That's what you have to do. You can't do this alone, so you have to find people to team up with. Also, Bobby, this one kid who's right now he's a councilman, and he's running for state office also. Bobby McDowell. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Keith.
Anything else, Mickey?
No, we're good for now. Looks like a lot of the questions are perhaps we're going to touch on here in a few.
Okay, cool. So let's, on young people, let's go to your next issue, Keith, and that's college education. And as John brings up your slide for college education, let's tell us a little bit about your stance on that and how you'll represent your constituents when you're in office.
Well, I remember when I went to the University of Akron, I think we paid like $300 a quarter, $900 a year, plus books. We thought that was a lot of money back then. As a matter of fact, we'd have to work the whole summer to get that money together, and then we'd go to school. Today, when my daughter went to school, she went to Case, $38,000 a semester. $38,000
a semester.
Yes.
Wow.
She was. That was for grad. That was for grad school, and it's like we definitely need to help these young folks out when it comes to education. I'm not sure we can give it to them for free, but we need to make it so that it is affordable. And if we're going to give them loans, I don't think that we should be charging them interest. I mean, look at the banks. The banks get their money almost for free, and they lend it out. We should be giving these kids a chance to get an education. And I think that what we need to do, Bernie talks about giving it out for free, the state and also the junior colleges or the we call community colleges here in Ohio. I think the community colleges should be free, and an awful lot of high school kids get to go their first year to the community college for free. We have a system that works with an awful lot of the local school districts around here where they can go to school and for free. Yes.
Yeah, and those trade schools and junior colleges, community colleges are so important. To me, that would be low-hanging fruit to start there and then see how those work and move a program out after you see how that's going.
I totally agree with you there. Yeah.
We also need to incorporate more of that type of training in high school so students can get a better, figure out what they want to do.
I used to work for Parma City Schools, and my wife still does, and we definitely already have that, and the kids can take these classes, and they also especially the food classes where they become a chef or learn about restaurant business, and they can go right from high school working. They can get a management position almost right away in a restaurant, and we're not talking McDonald's here. We're talking about a real restaurant, So we do have those programs in a lot of the school districts, especially the larger ones.
Gotcha. Cool. Anything else? Let's go back to Mickey for this one and see if there's any other questions in the chat room on college that came up.
I actually don't have anything on that, guys.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just thought I would check in and see if anyone was... Had any comments on that? So, Keith, tell us a little bit more about your platform. Are there some other issues that you're passionate about that we didn't mention in these big three? Because these are the big three. But what are some other ones that kind of make you stand out as a candidate?
Money in politics. Oh my gosh!
Citizens United.
And because of Citizens United, we're such in a bad position where people, the person I'm running against is going to be able to throw millions of dollars at me. Chances are we won't even raise 100,000. This is the biggest problem we have when every single congressional seat is bought. Every Senate seat is bought. The presidency is bought. I mean, it's like they're buying the state seats now. This is the problem. Money is buying power. It's buying influence. It's buying votes. And I hate to use this terminology, but I do. This hypocrisy, we're calling a democracy. It's being bought. It's being sold. We saw it, with Trump. With the Republican Party, the Republican Party, the Tea Party took it over, hijacked it, literally. And now Trump comes along and he's bought and sold, and he owns it. It's Trump Incorporated now, the Republican Party. So yeah, we need to take money out of politics. A congressman makes about $174,000 a year. Why would you spend $3 million to get a job for $174,000 if there was an influence that corporations are going to be able to use it's just a sad, bad thing.
Yeah, I think the way you just framed it right there is, I think Bernie could steal some of that language and would be better off served at kind of making his point about, sure, there are no specific ties to corruption, but
it's all corruption. What are you talking about? I mean, it's
not unless you can prove it, though, right?
Well, no, it's not corruption. If you write the laws like Citizens United, and you have the Supreme Court. I mean, they're the Supreme Court. Tell you that it's okay to lie, cheat, and steal. Well, that's what's going to happen. Okay, and that's exactly what Citizens United has done. And of course, it goes right back to this hypocrisy we call a democracy. If we truly want a democracy, we have to take money out of politics and let people just vote for people. And the other thing we need to do is get rich people out of it. We don't need any more rich people. They don't speak for us. They don't know how we have to live day to day. They don't know, I don't even think they shop for themselves. So a lot of these people don't even have a clue what's going on out there. And if the gas prices go up, they don't even care. They're rich.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's go back to your district. What does your district look like as far as voting and as far as the conversations with the people that you've had and even turning some of the more conservative folks in your district to kind of pull that lever for you? How's that been going?
Well, our district is about 94% white, and most of the people are above the median income. Mm-hmm. Last election, about 60% voted Republican. Talk about an uphill battle. Right there, it's going to be tough. They gerrymandered the living daylights out of it. It's costing me a fortune just to travel to get to all the different parts of the district. I have to drive through two other congressmen's districts, two other congressional districts just to get to mine for my house.
Gerrymandering is the most frustrating piece of local politics that I have. It is so blatant and so wrong.
Well, the other thing that happens most people also vote against their best interests. A lot of the Republicans in this district really can't afford to vote Republican, but hey, they're conservatives. They say they're conservatives. We've always voted Republican. We're going to vote Republican, and in the end, they vote against themselves. Case in point, here locally, we have the Nexus pipeline, and of course, we have fracking. In the eastern part of our state, where we're poisoning the air, poisoning the water, poisoning our future. But going back to how this is taking place, what's happened is they have voted Republican, and now both houses down in Columbus are controlled by the Republicans, and they passed the laws that allow these corporations to do what they're doing. When these, of course, we take them to court, people take them to court, and then at some point it's going to get to the Supreme Court. But you see, the way the laws are written is how the Supreme Court has to decide how it's going to go. Even though Republicans control the Supreme Court, also, I do believe that most attorneys and judges, they base everything that they do on the law. I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. They're not. But what's going on is that money is put into these campaigns so that they get Republicans down in Columbus, and then what happens is they do change the laws, and then everybody gets screwed. It's that simple.
Gotcha. And I know that we do have a question from Mickey close to this subject, so we're going to go ahead and bring him in here and have him ask that question.
Okay.
Or two.
Yeah. So, yep. I think I have a couple here. So Sekmara wants to know, or is saying the 16th district was heavily gerrymandered in favor of your opponent, Republican young gun Jim Renacci. What steps are you taking to overcome that obstacle, and what, if any, plans do you have to address gerrymandering?
Well, I can't address gerrymandering because that's done, in other words, we can't redistrict until we have a census. So the next time we can even look at it is after the 2020 census. So the next time the districts can be reformed will be 2022. That's out there. So there's nothing I can do about that. What was the other question? I missed that. You had two parts of your question. Oh, how am I
against the young gun?
What I'm doing is we're talking to people. We're talking to each person individually, as many as we can. And once we get closer to the this summer, we're going to be going door to door. And also, too, we have our Mundy mobile, which we just bought an old RV for $3,500, and we're going to do that up like a billboard on both sides, and we're going to put it in every little town, and because billboards are $900 a month here, and really after 3 days, you've kind of lost whatever it is you were gaining from having it. So what we're going to do is be able to move this little mobile unit we have around the district and put it in different cities, different towns, so people can see it as they're going to work.
Awesome. Well, that's a good
idea.
You'll get your money's worth, right?
We will. I think that it's probably going to be one of the best investments.
Are you going to take it to Philadelphia?
Yes, we are taking it to Philadelphia. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes,
sure.
It's going to be our mobile office down in Philadelphia. As a matter of fact, Scott Smith, my campaign manager, he found a place only 4 miles away from where the convention is going to be held. They actually have this concrete jungle that they call a campground, but it's going to serve our purposes great. We'll have the electric, we'll have water. But chances are I'm going to have to stay in a hotel. I'm going to have to stay at the hotel because I'm going to be on one of the committees. And
your campaign guy has to sleep in the damn trailer.
Yes, my campaign guy is going to have to sleep in the damn trailer, he just said, yes. And it's not a trailer, it's a motorhome.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. It'll have a fridge.
And
go ahead.
Sorry. While we're on Philly, Bad Wolf wants to know, Keith, are you Bernie or bust? And how do you feel about the demonstrations that have been planned for Burners to go to the convention?
I'm going to have to be honest about this. I am not Bernie or bust, and the reason why I'm not Bernie or bust is because the Supreme Court. We're going to be filling some vacancies there. The Supreme Court's probably the most important arm of our government, and we cannot allow Trump to get in there. And so, no, I'll do what I have to do to make it so that we have somebody that's going to at least give us somebody good on the Supreme Court. We cannot allow to have more Citizens United, more stuff taken away from the unions, more stuff taken away from us. We can't allow the Supreme Court to do that, and that's why I'm not a Bernie or bust. What was your other question? The crowds we're going to have. The crowd, I'm excited about everybody coming to Philly. As a matter of fact, I may be speaking to these people in Philly, not to the people inside the convention, but those people outside the convention. As long as we do it peacefully, I have no problems. I'm all for it. We should bring 1 million people to Philly, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Okay? Yeah, I think a lot of people are right there with you. Beautiful.
Yes,
thank you, Keith.
And like I said, I'll be there and I will speak. I'd love to speak
Awesome.
in front of 1 million people. That'd be kind of cool.
We'd love to have you. We'll be there.
Cool. Anything else, Mickey?
No, we're good for now. Thanks,
All
John.
right, well, let's go in. Yeah, so John's going to bring up another video now. This is called, well, I've called it The Power of the Net, How I'll Vote. And this is kind of your video explaining what you would do with your constituents on particular issues. So let's just watch it, and then we'll have you reflect on it and open it up for some more questions.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Well, during the campaign, my strategy is to talk to all the individuals that I can that live in our district and find out what they think
I'm having a tough time reading here.
in their life to make their life better. What can government do for me? But beyond that, when I get elected, everybody's going to have a chance to weigh in. I mean, we do have the net, the internet, and I don't think it's being utilized enough by our elected officials to communicate with those people that have something to say. And so what we're going to do is, when we get to Washington, is we're going to allow you to see everything that I'm going to vote on. We're going to let you comment on everything that I'm going to vote on. We're going to allow you to make suggestions on what we should be voting on. And we're also going to allow you to vote. Meaning if 500,000 of you say that I should be voting yes on an issue, then I think it's my responsibility to vote yes on that issue, unless I can give you a reason why we shouldn't. That's the problem with Congress today. They're not listening to the people at all. Once they get elected, they go down there and they do whatever they want for their handlers. I'm going to be one of those people that will not have a handler. I will just have you, the people. I'm Keith Mundy, and I approve this message.
Oh, you're snickering.
Well, that
What's
was my very first video.
Yeah.
The very first video. I remember coming over to Scott's to do that video. I didn't know I was going to do a video. I was just coming over to Scott, and he goes, "We should do a video." I said, "Okay." I said, "But I'm in my hoodie. I'm in my Bernie hoodie." He goes, "Don't worry about it. It'll look great." Well, we've come a long way from that first video.
Gotcha. So I'm going to see if John Ellis wants to come on for a second and talk with you a little bit about Place a Vote. They're one of our partners with the network, and so kind of we talk about their application, and so if he wants to come on here.
No, I just want to say I'd like to be connected with them because they're about having an open connection between constituents and their representatives, you. And I asked earlier, had you heard of it? And I don't think you had, correct?
No.
Keith, can you? Yeah. And it's. I mean, would you be interested in signing up for software? You said you were talking about how the net is underutilized. If it were software that were as secure as blockchain, bank-level security, this already accesses the voter database, and what it would give you would be data. Excuse me, on what your constituents are saying. So in other words, they can see what bills you have to vote on, and you can see what they tell you. They say, hey, 51% of your constituents say you should vote yes. 48 say no, and here's comments. Would you be interested? Would you find that data valuable?
Well, yes. Everybody that in Congress would find that valuable if they were there voting for the people.
Right. If they cared, yes.
That's the. You have to understand that most of these people that go to Congress are not there for you and I. Right. They're just not.
Absolutely. So, and I'm also encouraged by the fact that you understand that the internet is underutilized, because I think most of our Congress right now, regardless of age, doesn't really understand the power of the internet, how it needs to be managed. And so I appreciate your view on that. I'm looking forward to connecting you with Facebook. I do have a question for you, though, that is not related to Place a Vote. It's about Bernie or bust, and then I'll turn it back over to you, John Spalding. And I'm just curious, because I am Bernie or bust. I feel that we need to break the system. It's not functional. That what we saw in Nevada was outrageous, and I'm about peaceful protest as well. I don't see how we could possibly have a democratic process when we don't have a democratic process, and we're going to see that in Philly. What gives you, my question to you, because basically to me that just shows massive distrust within the DNC. It's massive. There's no, they're not following their own rules. They don't care about rules. What makes you think that Hillary Clinton is going to actually do any of the things, if she were put in office? What makes you think in one instance that she's going to be better than Trump for any of those things, and that the Supreme Court nominee is really going to make that much of a difference once the establishment remains in power?
That's an excellent question. It's like this. We've always been stuck having to vote for the lesser of two evils. We always have. I mean, it's my whole life has been the lesser of two evils. I will, as much as a lot of people are not going to like this answer, I will vote for Hillary if I have to. And I want to underline that, have to. But no, we have to keep the system going. But yes, change comes in little steps. We can't just go down to Philly and take over the country or take over the Democratic Party. It's just not going to happen.
But that's incrementalism is what Hillary is offering. Bernie is asking for a paradigm shift, and you've got a hashtag on your site that says "God, Bernie's back."
Yeah,
so,
and you know,
it's a paradigm shift.
I understand, but at the same time, I understand what you're saying. I'm an older guy. Okay, I've been around a little longer. You know, we've been stumbling through this for years. You know, it's been ongoing. You know, since really Nixon. You know, we've been stumbling through. You know, I wasn't real fond of Clinton when he was president. To be honest with you, I mean, he was just lucky that he had the internet boom going on that made him look like he was a great president. Of course, he gave us NAFTA, and of course, the Glass-Steagall Act. He just threw to the wayside, which caused 2008.
He could play the saxophone. You know.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people can. And you know, going back to what you say, I would still have to vote for Hillary, hoping that we were going to get a decent Supreme Court. You know, I would like to be a Bernie or bust guy. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
All right. Would you do Jill Stein? Would you do a Bernie on an independent ticket? That's the other question.
Well, now you're changing it up a little bit. Jill Stein, no, I couldn't vote for Jill, only because she couldn't get enough votes. But if Bernie decided to go off on his own, I'd be right there with him. No, I would. Okay, all right.
I'll take that.
I would. You know, no, I would. No, I'm a Bernie guy. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like, but I can't do the Bernie or bust.
Well, to me, that's Bernie or bust. To me, that really is, because that's a viable option, right? Is to say, look, we're going independent. The Democratic Party is just not, whatever. I appreciate you having the courage and taking the time to answer a tough question. Because
of course I will. No, I'm not going to back down from any question. And what you said about what we saw in Nevada, it was just terrible. Just terrible. I mean, you know, and we will talk after the show.
All right, back to you, John Spalding.
All right, thanks, John Ellis. I really appreciate that, and Keith, awesome job answering. So we're gonna go to this kind of our closing picture, and kind of tell us a little bit about this picture that John's going to be bringing up on the screen here. And that is with one of our favorite congresspersons from Ohio, and that's Marcy Kaptur. She's a champion for the working class and a champion for hardworking folks in Northwest Ohio. Tell us a little bit about how this picture came about and some of your reflections about meeting her.
Well, that picture was taken just Sunday night, but I've known Marcy for a while now. Marcy Kaptur is probably one of the most. She's just a great person. I really like her, and she always every time she sees me, it's Keith. How are you doing? And of course, I one time said, well, Congresswoman. She goes, no. With you, it's just you just call me Marcy. And it's just she's just a down to earth. She's one of us. And she is a Bernie person. I mean, she's been a Bernie person from the get-go. That night, Sunday night, we were at the Cuyahoga County Democratic dinner over at the Cleveland Clinic, over at the International Hotel. you know, it was Nina Turner was there. As a matter of fact, I was able to speak with Nina that night and a few other people that are involved with the Bernie Sanders movement. So yes, it was great. Great night. She's a great person.
I was an organizer for a portion. It's called Working America. They're a portion of the AFL-CIO, and I knocked on someone's door, and he stopped me at the door. He's like, "Well, who do you support?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I didn't know a whole lot about Toledo at the time when I lived there. And he's like, "Well, do you support Marcy Kaptur?" And I go, "Well, I don't really know that much about her." He's like, "Well, she's awesome, and we're done talking if you don't know about her." That was like my intro to organizing. I'm like, "Oh my God, I just made a mistake," and I was with a Democrat. I'm in big trouble. So Marcy is loved. I have to tell you.
Oh
my God, it is.
Yes.
It's beyond loved. I mean, like people will stand outside her house and make sure that no one touches it. It's like almost insular protection from Northwest Ohio, and which is awesome. They love her and she's great. So let's transition now. Where can we're going to go into just some of your closing thoughts around your campaign. Where can people find you, and what are some events you have coming up, and how can people stay in touch with the work that you're doing?
Well, our next event is, tomorrow night I'm with the Arab Americans at a dinner. On Saturday, we'll be down in Columbus with our delegates, our Bernie delegates that are going to Philadelphia. You can get a hold of us at Mundy2016.com. The campaign is rolling right along, especially since we got the new RV. And of course, thank you. And we're always looking for money. That is the biggest problem with running for office, is the money. And of course, we already talked about that. Citizens United, we don't need to talk about that anymore. Any other? What else? What other questions?
Where can they find you?
How do you mean find me?
On the internet.
Well, I just said that. It's Mundy2016.com.
Facebook, Twitter.
We have Facebook. We have Facebook, Twitter. It's Vote Mundy at Twitter, and on Facebook you just look for Keith Mundy running for Congress, and it'll pop right up for you.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us tonight. We're going to check in with Mickey one more time just to see if there are any outlying comments and questions in the chat room that we haven't touched on yet. Mickey, you're muted. Oh,
Thank
he's
you, John.
checking it.
Thanks, everybody. So, you were just mentioning contributions to the campaign. Jill R. is asking, do you take any corporate contributions?
None. Perfect. I don't want to see anything from corporations.
Good answer.
Well, it's the only answer.
All right, and I want to touch on a subject that I think is really important. What's your stance on fracking? And also, just to add on to this, Sekmara says last summer Lake Erie was affected by the largest bloom cyanobacteria on record, resulting in excessively large amounts of deadly type of cyanotoxin known as microcystin.
Yes.
That contaminated both lake waters and water supplies. So what are you going to do to address the phosphorus runoff that has been a major contributor to the toxic algae blooms?
Well, that's a farming issue that we need to deal with, especially with the fertilizers. I think we can farm with less fertilizer. That's something we have to do. Plus, we have to make sure that the water runoff that come from the farms isn't going directly into the lake. Now, that's a tough one. How we're going to do that, we'll have to get together with some engineers or something, figure that one out. But we need to cut back, definitely. You know, the Amish seem to be able to grow all this food. And in Ohio, we have an awful lot of Amish. They seem to be able to grow all this food without the fertilizer. Of course, we have Monsanto playing a big role in our farm system here in Ohio. And yes, it did. The Lake Erie, it's almost every year now. When it gets to a certain temperature, we get these algae blooms. Yes, they are poisonous. And, of course, we had to ship a lot of water up to Toledo to keep those people happy. It's a major issue. Fracking. With fracking, I brought that up a little bit earlier. I'm totally against fracking. poisons our water, it poisons our air, it's poisoning our future. We definitely need to do something about that. We have to think about our grandchildren. Our children, we don't have to worry too much about. They already know what's happening. It's the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, these people that aren't even here yet. We're destroying the planet. We're destroying Ohio terribly. And again, we discussed this earlier about how they changed the laws down in Columbus to make it all legal, nice and legal and nice and tidy, so we can pollute your land.
Very nice. Okay, thank you for that. Again, it is a super important issue for a lot of people, and that's the fantastic stance and aggressive stance that I think we all need to have. So let's leave on a light note. Sekmara again wants to know, what is your favorite ride at Cedar Point?
That's you're not going to like this. I hate Cedar Point. I hate going on rides. I guess it would have to be the merry-go-round.
Keith, you're not Bernie or bust, and you don't like Cedar Point. I didn't vet you. I should have talked about more of this in person. I'm like, what?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just, I've taken the kids up there. I've taken, we've had field trips from the schools when I used to work for the schools. I was always that guy that just sat down and, was looking for the next best hot dog from a vendor. It just doesn't excite me. What I really would like to talk about, and if we can fit it in, is voting. Can we talk about voting for a second?
Absolutely. And if you want to touch on vote, go ahead and touch on voting. I do have a question again if we have time, but go ahead.
Go ahead, real quick. Go ahead. Give me the question. Give me the question real quick. We'll get that out.
Yeah. So the question is, what do you think? This is from Dana Hall. What do you think about the election fraud that has been going on all across the states?
I've been very disappointed about it. Yes, it's something we're looking at, but something I'm not going to discuss tonight. Only because it's still in play in the courts in some states. In Nevada, it's been taken to court. So we have to wait and see what the courts do before I say anything. Now, about voting, and the voting suppression, when a kid becomes 17 and a half, he has to sign up for selective service. He should automatically be registered to vote. I want to take it one step further. I think we need to vote by mail. It's being done now in Oregon, and out in Oregon in 2004, they had a presidential race, and 2 million people registered to vote, and over 80% voted. This, to me, is a big issue. Voting is so important. It's how we get things done in this country, and we need to make sure that everybody has a chance to vote, and that's how I feel about it. We need to vote by mail also. It's just we'd save millions of dollars in every state if we did this. We wouldn't have to have the polls open. Hey, we should be able to sell it to Republicans. We're saving money.
Absolutely. Well, Keith, thank you so much for your time tonight. We really appreciate it. We're going to queue up the closing video here, and that is it's the PHLDNC, the Keith's request for the Bernie campaign. But before we do that, give a little shout out to your campaign manager who does an awesome job on your stuff.
Well, Scott should come here and get in the picture. Scott, come over here and get in the picture real quick. This is Scott Smith, and of course you already know him. And he's the magic behind the campaign, especially with the videos. It's I'm not quite a puppet.
I got my hand behind his back here.
But we've had a lot of fun. You have to remember that Scott came to me when we were building the Bernie group. This is last year, and when he told me what his skills were, I said, "Oh yeah, we need you. You're coming on board." And of course, all he did for a while was this Journey with Bernie videos that we've been doing, and he's just done such an excellent job. And of course, we got to know each other. We got to find out that we were too much alike, and we really work well together. It's been a lot of fun. I think that we're having more fun than we should have running a campaign. It's been that, and it's a learning experience also.
Considering how corrupt politics are, we're gonna still try to have fun doing it. But I still get stuck in the RV at Philly.
Yeah, well, no one feels bad for you, Scott, but good. I'm glad everyone got a chance to meet you, and all the work that you do behind the scenes on the campaign is awesome. So Keith and Scott, thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to close with your video, but just hang on, and we'll chat with you afterwards.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here with Keith Mundy for this episode of We the People.
And Scott says thank you also.
Bernie 2016 TV, no problem, guys. Thanks a lot.
Together there is nothing we cannot accomplish. We are a lean, mean political machine powered by the people, not money. We are taking this fight to Philly and beyond. Campaign for Bernie in every remaining primary state, and then find your local candidates and delegates to back them through to the convention. These progressives, along with the delegates going to Philadelphia, now need your help applying the same knowledge, skill, and passion that powers Bernie 2016. Join us and change the future.
Huge